Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 1 day time frame for Bitcoin, because right now we are at the bottom of this critical level of support for Bitcoin, being this big level of support sitting from 62.4k all the way down to 60,000 US dollars, and confirming a breakdown below 60k, or more specifically 59.5k. This would be a short-term bearish signal, and more likely we would fall down into this next big level of support sitting from 58,000 all the way down to 56,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. And of course, besides that, we are still in this downtrend that I have been talking about over my last couple of videos. And yeah, so long as we aren't breaking above this descending trend line here, then we will just continue to make lower lows and lower highs in the Bitcoin price on this 1 day time frame as well. Now, if we actually zoom in on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that as of the time of recording, we are currently in the process of undercutting these recent lows here already, which indicates that we could be even going as low as about 59.5k, because we should expect some short-term support at this level right here. And I think just in general here, this whole area is like a level of support, because we have seen a lot of price action around this price level here. So therefore, we should just be expecting to see support in this range. But as I said, breaking down below would be a bearish signal. Now, taking a look at these Fibonacci levels right here, you can see that we just got a rejection from this 0.382 Fibonacci level sitting at 61.2k for the Bitcoin price. And this is another short-term warning signal here in the charts, indicating that we might be going lower here for the Bitcoin price, for example, down to some of those levels that I mentioned earlier in the video. Although at the same time, do keep in mind that we are somewhat close to reaching into oversold territory for Bitcoin. And usually once we are in oversold territory, there is limited room to the downside. For example, in yesterday's video, I talked about potentially reaching into this oversold territory on the 1-hour time frame, after which we would reset back up to the 50 level. At the time, we were at this 35 level, and you can see right here, we reached into oversold territory here, and then perfectly reset back up to this 50 level here. So I'm very happy with how that played out. It basically played out exactly as expected here. But on the 1-hour time frame, again today, we are currently on this move to the downside once more. So therefore, you should be keeping an eye on this RSI momentum indicator, just in case we reach into oversold territory once again. And another thing to potentially look out for is if we actually get a lower low in the Bitcoin price here, but if we have a higher low in the RSI momentum indicator at the same time, then this would be what we call a bullish divergence, which is when you have lower lows in the Bitcoin price and higher lows in the RSI momentum indicator. And that could be something to potentially look out for, because usually this indicates that we are likely to see some choppy sideways price action or potentially some bullish momentum in the short term. But either way, usually it indicates a break from all of the bearish price action that we have been seeing. Either way, that is something you could potentially look out for, but just make sure that we are actually getting that confirmed higher low, and not just seeing something like this where it is continuously going down without actually seeing somewhat of a bounce first, because then the bullish divergence simply has not confirmed, because it could also be in the process of just making another lower low in the RSI momentum indicator, for example. Next, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, first of all on the 2-week time frame. As you can see right here, we still have this massive level of liquidity of about $500 million worth of long positions sitting at 59.7k. And I just think that this is a magnet for the Bitcoin price at this point, where, as I said yesterday, the lower we go here, the more likely it is that we are actually going to grab all of this liquidity here. But what you may notice here as well is that as time goes on, the number of long positions that get liquidated at this level is actually going up. So people are longing into this move to the downside here. And if we now get this move down to 60K, 59.7K, then yeah, we're going to take out over $500 million worth of long positions that would lose their money on their trade. And in the case that you haven't watched my free trading course, you can find the link to that in the video description, by the way, if you just want to learn the basics of technical analysis like I use in my videos here. Either way, what I like to do with these Bitcoin liquidation heat maps is when we sweep a big level of liquidity, look for a potential bounce in the short term. For example, you see it play out kind of nicely here on this 3-month time frame. So right here, we sweep a bunch of liquidity to the upside and then reverse back to the downside, grabbing a bunch of liquidity here. But then at this point, we had taken out most of the liquidity, so we actually reversed back to the upside, sweeping a bunch of liquidity once more. And yeah, you can see that we are just doing this over and over again. So when we actually take out those big levels of liquidity, that is an important time to actually pay attention to the charts. And if we would now take out this big level of liquidity, as well as reach that critical 60K level of support, well, potentially you could be seeing a bounce from that level, and it is something to look out for. Now, that is, of course, not financial advice, and I'm not telling you to go turbo long at 60K or anything like that. Lastly, taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables for today. Yesterday, we saw a net outflow of about $40 million. So we're still talking about relatively small in and outflows here. Of course, $40 million is a lot of money, but not in the context of volume traded for Bitcoin. So therefore, there still really isn't that much to say about this, because what I like to look out for with these Bitcoin ETF flow tables is to see some massive in or outflows. Like, for example, what we saw right here, we had some regular inflows, like we're talking about like $100 million or lower. And then suddenly we saw this massive spike where we got 400 million, 500 million in back-to-back days. And those are the kind of signals that I'm looking out for in these Bitcoin ETF flow tables, because that tells me that, yeah, we are reaching some kind of top or bottom sometime soon, usually, because that is simply what we have seen over the last 6 months or so, basically since these Bitcoin ETFs have been introduced. When we get sudden massive spikes in or outflows, usually that is a top or bottom signal. Of course, not financial advice, but that is simply what I have seen in the data so far ever since these Bitcoin ETFs actually started. Either way, this has been today's market update. Don't forget to check out the links in the video description, because I linked to MEXC, which is the lowest fee trading exchange in the whole crypto space. So especially if you're trading crypto with leverage, I highly recommend you check out this exchange right here. You can get the lowest fees and some massive bonuses if you register with my link in the video description. However, MEXC does require KYC. So if you are not able to verify your ID, or you simply do not want to trade with your ID verified, well, in that case, I recommend Blofin, because you can also trade on Blofin without KYC. And by using my link in the video description, you get a 10% trading fee discount, which is an exclusive discount for the Road to 1 Million community if you actually use my link here. And you can get up to $5,000 in exclusive bonuses. So if that is something you're interested in, definitely go check it out. Either way, if you do end up checking those links out or not, thank you for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.